Welcome to the Hero Live Show. This is Paul, and today we have a really special guest by the name of Rainier Pollard. He has been with us, a hero dad, since May. So it's been, I'd say, about 10 months, and the transformation that Rainier has been on has been remarkable. Clear outward transformation, but so much deeper than that. Rainier, welcome.
G'day, Paulie. How are we?
Yeah, so good, man. So good. And so great to have you on the show, especially considering the circumstances that you and your family are in right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're stuck in a bit of isolation. My other half, Kerry, she's recently been, diagnosed with the COVID Rona, or whatever you want to call her. Yeah, she is. She is sick. That was just my daughter Eve. She's wanting to jump in on the interview as well. So. Yeah, so we're in isolation for the next few more days, and hopefully I can avoid it. But all good. If not, it'll be all good.
Exactly. But Rainier, I just wanted to congratulate you on everything you've been able to achieve over this last 10-month period. Why don't we start at the beginning and have a little bit of a chat about when you first picked up the phone to call. And we really just had a bit of a chat about where you were at as a dad and what changes you felt you needed to make in your life.
Sure. What actually prompted it was I happened to be in a moment where I was flicking through Instagram, and I was just going flick, a bit of a mindless flick actually. And I actually remembered quite perfectly because I was sort of on a lunch break at work, and I was going, I don't have anything to do. And Hero Dads popped up for me, the page, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm feeling a bit about how I was feeling as my body. Sorry, I've just got all the kids coming in at the same time. Oh, that's good. All right. And I was feeling a bit dodgy about how I was feeling physically. I was feeling a bit tough mentally as well. I was feeling a bit drained. It is raining outside. Do you guys want to go hop outside for a second?
Cam wants to say hi.
Okay. Excellent. Sorry, guys. So I was like, should I do that? Should I not do that? And I went, I'm going to hold off. And then a couple of days later, the Hero Dad thing came up again on my Instagram. I went, oh, this is telling me something. I'm just going to reach out. So I reached out, and I had a call with Dan, and that was really, really fantastic. And I sort of just talked to him about the fact that I was feeling a bit, so physically I wasn't feeling really great. I'd put on quite a lot of weight, and obviously a bit of corona weight as well. But also I was feeling quite drained, and I felt like my habits were feeling out of whack. So it was really tricky to sort of get myself around things. Sorry, I've got really sad babies now.
Hey, that's
and a really shouty one at the moment. He's going through a phase, which is all good. Hey, Evie, can you close the door, please? Thank you. And so. Yeah, I had that chat with Dan, then had a chat with you about sort of setting some goals physically, and that was really good. It was really fantastic just to take a first step, and that was sort of one of the main things that I took away from both of you was just going, what is the first step of actually just getting out, moving my body, making one sort of small step at a time, so that I can be a better dad, be the best I can be for this little monkey and the two other little monkeys that are currently bashing down the door.
Amazing. Incredible. And why don't you tell me a little bit about when you first stepped into that program, you told us a little bit about what your challenges were. How did you find Hero by the end of the program? How did it help address all the challenges that you had earlier on?
Well, very early on, I found it was tough, particularly to get moving, because it was a lot of the movements that I wasn't quite used to. I felt that there was some of from a food perspective, I was able to sort of step into that quite easily, given that I had already done the intermittent fasting before and had quite a lot of success with that before. So stepping into that part of the program was actually quite easy compared to the physical side, and actually stepping up and being accountable every single day, doing the workouts every single day. But what was really fantastic, particularly early on, was just the accountability that you guys held over me, being in contact every day, tapping my shoulder and just going, hey, have you done the thing? Let's talk about it. How do you feel? How's that working for you? What can we change? What can we not? What can we adjust? And that was actually one of the most fantastic things about the whole program over the 10 months that I've been doing it, is just that consistency of accountability, consistency of mateship, consistency of excellence in what you guys have been able to help me with, which is being able to set up a whole bunch of new habits, which have been really excellent. And I know that I can be a much better role model for my monkeys, literally.
And a really great clothes horse as well, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm not a monkey.
You're not a monkey? Okay, excellent. Yeah, I was at the beginning of the program was tough, but actually the way that it was structured, I sort of came up a couple of times with points where I was going, I feel like I should be doing this, or I should be doing a bit more cardio work, for example, or I need to adjust these habits, which is really fantastic. And both you and Dan were able to sort of pivot and make sure that we're able to have really decent conversations about those and go, okay, that's going to be at this point in time work for you. And they did. And it was really wonderful because we were both, like all three of us, were able to have really awesome conversations and pivot when required, which was wonderful.
And, ultimately, what I found in my experience of guiding dads like yourself is it's one thing from a fitness and health perspective to know what I know from a programming perspective, what might be good for your body, but it needs to be good for your mind. It needs to keep you interested. It needs to keep you satiated. And you need to feel a draw to it. Mentally and emotionally. That's where conversations and guidance and being in your corner and on your team is a really, really important part of this. And that's where we do consider ourselves a family, like we've been able to accomplish so much together, and we've literally been in your life every day for the last 10 months. And it's been such an honor to be able to be there by your side and to be able to witness what you now have been able to take complete control and charge on. Speaking of which, why don't you take us through some of the achievements that you've been actually able to achieve from a physical perspective? Let's start.
Yeah, sure. When I started, just before I started the program, I was weighing in just over, I think it was 112 kilos. And that's, if I think back, it was probably the heaviest I'd ever been in my lifetime. I'm a tall guy, so actually having a bit of extra weight isn't a huge issue, but that was just a bit much, and I was at the point I was feeling quite overwhelmed. I was certainly at my heaviest at that point, which was quite tricky for me, and so that was one of the big reasons why I wanted to call. And luckily, I just put the foot down and said, I need to do this. I need to do the work. And actually, in the end, I've lost 17 kilos. So I got down to, I think it was 95 kilos at the lowest. Obviously, Christmas has happened a little bit, and we're sort of at the back end of that. But what's been really great is I've been, as part of the program, I've been given the confidence to be able to go, right, I know what I need to do to keep myself at a stable weight. Not that I've put on a huge amount since during the Christmas break. I was able to control my portions, my food portions, and actually I got quite a few comments from the family who are quite disgusted that I wasn't eating as much as they were. I'm like, well, I don't need to. But which was a fascinating a sort of fascinating dynamic because I haven't seen them for 2 years. So,
Wow.
yeah, I felt really great about what happened there, and I've been able to sort of maintain that sort of between 95 and 98.
Perfect.
99 kilos, which is really great. And if I do need to, I am sort of looking maybe to like sort of get back down to 95 and sort of maintain that for a while. But I know that I've got the confidence to go. I've got things that I can draw from, that I've learned from you, that I've learned from Dan, that I can just get on with it and feel confident that I'm going to have success with that. So that's sort of that part of it. The other sort of from a habits perspective, working with Dan was really wonderful in terms of just sort of picking up one or two little things each week to just go, okay, I'm going to drink 12 cups of water each day. That's going to be a thing that I'm setting myself up for. So that was one of the first things that we did, setting up a nighttime routine and an evening routine, so going to bed. And that was actually probably one of the most useful habits that I've maintained on the most part. I have been on sort of holiday, so I've let myself slip a little bit. But I know that at 9:30 all screens are off and I have to read. I force myself to read. But that has been really fantastic in itself because I've never been a reader. Like I spend most of my day reading sheet music because I'm a professional musician. So I spend most of my day reading and doing stuff. So I don't often actually read literature or whatever. But I've actually been reading a lot of books to help me settle myself for bed and actually make sure that when I hit 10:30 that lights go out and I'm done for the day. Which also is sort of a contributing factor to the weight loss. So all these things sort of worked hand in hand, which is really spectacular. So that's like the habits, like a set of habits was really fantastic. The other thing, which was probably my sort of crowning glory, I guess, I don't know, crowning glory, but I felt most proud about was it's actually I've been able to reconnect with my running self. And that's been a big part of my journey for the last 10 months, going from someone who wasn't really doing much exercise to someone who's doing regular exercise, but including running as a main part of my life. And actually, one of the sort of mental switches from a habits perspective is going, I like to run, to I am a runner. Like that, it makes me feel great about myself. I know that when I hit the pavement, I feel great, and it means sort of center myself and get back into the best zone for dadding.
You make some incredible points here because, and we've talked about this a lot, about stepping into a new identity. It's such an important step in being able to create solid habits. You're not going to be able to follow through on habits consistently unless you truly believe that you are stepping into this new habit. You are now a runner. You're not somebody who simply just likes to, kind of dip your toes in the water of running. I mean, I'm gonna leave you to explain what you were able to accomplish through the act of becoming a runner. But you are, in every sense of the word, a runner.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, like my most days I'm thinking about my next run or what I'm going to do on my next run or how it's getting me to the next thing that I want to achieve. So that's actually, I go, okay, well that's how I feel about music. So if it's something that feels something that's so close to me, like the music that I create, then running is something for me, which is awesome. But triggered it was the first couple of weeks or first month actually of the program. There was the Saturday run sessions, which were like 20 minutes and 25 minutes. And the first one I went to, I did the run and I was like, oh, that felt amazing. I don't know why, but my body just loved that. Okay, well, that's information for me. I'm going to just acknowledge that and, go forward with that. And then the second one I did, and actually did it with my daughter, Eve, who you've seen climbing all over me. She joined me for a little bit, for much of the second run and the third run as well. jumps in a scooter and scoots around. And actually just those moments of being with my daughter in those moments of running and actually enjoying the act of being physically active with her was just priceless, like absolutely priceless. And I go, oh, I love those moments. And I know that I'm being a really good role model for her, but also for my two boys, Cam and George. So that sort of triggered off going, okay, well, I don't know what it is, but I just want to do more of the running thing. And I think I mentioned it to you. And I went, oh, I've always in the back of my head, there's been a goal to run a half marathon. And then that snowballed into us signing up to do the Melbourne half marathon and sort of starting some sort of training routine to sort of get us up to completing the half marathon, which was initially cancelled, postponed from October to December, and October 10, we actually ran. We had sort of a virtual version of it between us, and that was incredible because I was like, well, I've done all the hard work. We've all done a lot of work to get there. Let's just have a crack. And that was great to just sort of have a sort of practice run at the thing. But then on December 12th, I was able to complete the Melbourne half marathon, which was a spectacular thing in itself because it was such an event. There was so many people there. I've never sort of been to an event like that. I certainly felt drawn into the whole experience. You get sucked, like that whole opening sort of 6 kilometers was just phenomenal, just being sort of sucked into the crowd. And there was 10,000 people running that race, which was awesome. But just like the first 6Ks, I just remember going, oh, this is awesome running. And then I got a sort of on my phone, because I had my phone on my chest and it was telling me the speeds that I was going. So if I'm at each kilometer, and I didn't hear the first 2 because the slamming of the feet on the pavement was so loud and everyone running and breathing, and it was just hardcore, just sound. But then I got to a spot on halfway up St Kilda Road, getting to kilometer, like just as I passed kilometer 3, and I was like, yeah, running at this, I think it was 6:02 pace, and I went, oh, that's a great deal faster than I was planning to do it.
Good on you.
To do that first opening section. But yeah, you get sucked into the adrenaline of the whole thing, and then you just go and you just want to finish. And getting to the end of that race and running into the MCG, I got quite choked up. It was quite a moment because like there was this darkness of the tunnel you run through, and then it opens up, and you got to get onto the hallowed grounds, and you look up, and there's just the sea of people across the other end of the oval, and you just go, okay, great. I want to keep doing that, and that was magnificent in itself. And then looking at I finished the race, and I'm just feeling quite heavy, and just going heavy with all, like feeling great about it, and then looking up and seeing my beautiful partner Kerry and all 3 kids there, just going, yeah, Dad, in the crowd. That was just like it was just an amazing moment. And I go, okay, I know that I've been able to achieve something, and that's in a large part due to the fact that I've been able to work with both you and Dan through the last 10 months. It's been really fantastic.
Remarkable, Rainier, what you've been able to achieve across the board from a physical perspective as well as like a habit and mental and emotional perspective as well. And what would you say to dads out there who kind of feel like it's the beginning of a year, they're at the other end of Christmas holidays, and they feel like they're kind of just fed up with where they're at with their health right now? What would you say to them if they're kind of on the line about taking action, but they don't quite know how to take that first step?
I would say sign up. I would say put your phone number in if you see it on Instagram or Facebook or onto the thing, just reach out because it was the best decision I've made in the last two years, certainly. And I could I've made a lot of there's been a lot of sacrificing that I've had to do, but actually not for this program, but like everyone's had to make sacrifices during this time. But once I hung up the phone on that first call with Dan, I think it was, I went, oh, I know that this is going to change me for the better. So I would absolutely encourage any dads who are sort of going, oh, that looks kind of interesting. I'm not sure if I have the time for that, or if I have the, have a go, have a chat with Paul. Highly recommend the program, because the people who are part of this program become lifelong mates. The people who run the program are incredibly gifted. They know their stuff. They go out of their way to make you feel comfortable, to make you feel valued, and to make you feel like you can actually achieve the things that you want to achieve. And all those things are things that I've been very grateful for, and grateful to be part of this program and have the outcomes of. So yeah, sign up, make the call, do it. Just do it, Nike. Do I get some sponsorship money from Nike? Just do it.
Yeah, that's our next round of endorsements. But that's so sweet of you to say, Rainier. Thank you so much. And it's been such an honour being on this journey with you and being able to watch you turn into your own health coach. And to know that after a Christmas period, that health is not it's not a linear process. There's going to be fluctuations along the way, but the beauty of this all is you now have the tools, you now have the assets to be able to activate whenever you see fit, and you now have the strength of mind to be able to know, right, so it's time to get cracking again. And it's been so wonderful to be able to be with you on this whole journey, and thank you so much for just trusting us. And it's been really a pleasure.
Yeah, no, and thank you, and to Dan. Obviously, he's sort of moved into another thing, and which is awesome for him. And but I'm really grateful to the both of you for your commitment, for your consistency, and your excellence. It's been really wonderful, and I know that I'm a better dad because of it.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much, Rainier. I'll let you get back to your monkeys.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Rainier.